Cincinnati Open kicks off tomorrow, but today we're talking about some unforced errors you won't see on the court.
That's right. Our friend Riddick from Game Time Budgeting is back to avoid costly money mistakes and what sports can kind of teach us about personal finance. I love the way you make these connections here. What inspired this one between unforced errors and personal finance?
So as you said, the Cincy Open is about to kick off. So I started thinking about unforced errors in tennis. And that occurs when a player makes a mistake that they should not have made, not because of pressure from their opponent, but because they have a slip in focus. We do the exact same thing with money. Sometimes we commit unforced errors, not because money is complicated, but because we really don't have a long-term goal and we lose focus.
All right. So, Al, what would be an example then of a financial unforced error?
So, the most popular unforced error that I see in personal finance is not tracking your money. Can you imagine playing a match of tennis and not keeping score? It makes no sense, right? So with money, obviously, if you aren't keeping track of where it's going, you obviously can't tell it where to go in the future, right? Or do you not know, or I guess I should say you don't know where it has gone in the past. So it's kind of like this. When people start tracking their money, they are shocked at what they see themselves spending on having food delivered to their homes, on subscriptions that they never use, or sometimes they suffer from what I call SOS, which is shiny object syndrome. That thing in the store, you just can't resist it, so you put it in your basket and you check out.
Yeah, that is me. That is me. So tracking is important.
That is
What
correct.
are some other common mistakes that people make?
So first of all, is living, or I should say living on credit that you really don't have a plan to pay back. That's one big common error as well. Delaying your retirement savings is another common error. And then also people that don't focus on creating an emergency fund. And my all-time favorite is lifestyle creep. Now you may say, well, what is that? That's where you're making a little bit more money, but then your spending increases as well. And that is not good, because what you should be doing is using that additional income to build wealth for the future. And most people don't realize that when you save today for retirement, you're actually buying your future at a discount.
Oh, I like that. Getting a discount. All right, so how can viewers watching, Al, avoid these unforced errors?
So first of all, you have to think like an athlete, right? You have to come up with a game plan. Most people don't know the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice so they never get it wrong. We can do the same thing with money. So first off, start tracking your spending. You can just start with 1 week. Once you do 1 week, then do 2, then 3, then 4, until you develop a habit. Secondly, start with a mini emergency fund. A lot of talking heads in the financial world might say, put $1,000 here or $2,500 there. It's very difficult to do that when you haven't figured out how to save $20, right? So just start small and build your way up. And last but not least, set up your retirement savings. Put it on automatic pilot if you can. A lot of people that work for corporations that have like 401k plans, you can just set the number and the money's just going to automatically go into your retirement account. So those are just 3 quick things that you can do to minimize the unforced errors.
Oh, some really great advice. And you've been giving advice for many, many years, Al.
Yes, ma'am.
And I understand that Game Time Budgeting just hit a major milestone of helping people save over $6.4 million.
That is correct.
Tell me about some of the other things.
Yeah, and in addition to that, helping people also pay off about $3.5 million in debt.
Wow.
So a lot of people say, well, Al, what's the secret? Honestly, there is no secret, because when I started Game Time Budgeting, I tracked what I planned to measure, just like I was talking about earlier, right? So I knew that I wanted to help people increase their savings and decrease debt. So I just started tracking, and I always said at the end of the day, at Game Time Budgeting, we just help the financially sick get well. That's all we do.
All right, well, I'm sure people watching want to get well, Al, so how can they get in touch with you and keep up with what you're doing?
They can reach out at 513-813-3275 or visit the website gametimebudgeting.com.
Well, congratulations again on that milestone.
Thank you so much.
That is so awesome. You practice what you preach.
That is so
You really
true.
do. All right, thanks so much for being here.
Good deal.
Appreciate it.